By 1981, Agnes was the grande dame of daytime, but she wasn't ready to just rest on her laurels. Agnes kept thinking of a story she was born to tell, a story that haunted her, just as an encounter she once had with a psychic haunted her.
And she said, "What do you do, dear?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She said, "I mean, what do you do? I would say you're a teacher, but I see millions of people listening and watching. What do you do?" So I told her. And she said, "Oh, that explains it. Yes, that explains it. But don't be vain, dear. Don't be proud or puffed up. It's all coming from an Irish ancestor on the other side."
I think Agnes is definitely plugged into something on a whole other plane. She's plugged into all the planes we're all plugged into, but she's also plugged into an extra plane. I am convinced of that. And I think she uses it to all of our great advantage. Actors receiving wonderful scripts, audiences being entertained.
Well, of course, I don't know who that ancient ancestor was, but I suspect, like to think it was a woman, and that probably she couldn't even read nor write. And the peat fire, she'd sit by and weave stories for her children and her family. Again, the oral tradition, the oral form of entertainment.
Agnes's spiritual side led her to create The Manions of America, a 3-part primetime miniseries about the struggles of Irish immigrants. Linda Pearl, Kate Mulgrew, and a newcomer named Pierce Brosnan starred in the sweeping story inspired by the one Aunt Emma told in Nashville so many years ago.
Bob used to say that that I knew it was good if I cried when I watched it, and wrote it and cried when I watched it.
Agnes writes best at home in her little garret on the 3rd floor. She stretches out on what she calls her ugly chair, made out of brown naugahyde. She writes longhand, or by dictating into a recorder.
She'll actually go into character. Sometimes with her accent, she'll put, if it's a southern, you're a southern person speaking, there's this southern accent, and I love it. You can tell. Her voice changes for the different characters.
They do not live just the time they're on the air. One season, they live 24 hours a day. We just see them for an hour a day.
As Agnes's current shows move into the 21st century, they're as provocative as they were decades ago. One Life to Live continues to have storylines as current as headlines. It's the same tradition at All My Children, with a star-studded bonus. For years, celebrities have appeared in cameos.
Put the rhythm of Pine Valley on the map, huh?
Or in a continuing role like Carol Burnett, a longtime fan of the show. Like Carol Burnett, Rosie O'Donnell was a faithful fan, who's now a faithful regular on All My Children. Rosie plays an irreverent maid named Naomi.
Who are you? The whole day's a nightmare, if you ask me. Love to chat, gotta go. Fish to fry.
But Agnes's sense of silliness never intrudes on reality. If it's not one kind of explosive action, it's another. Be it Erica Kane's new love triangle, or the return of a popular character like Dixie.
Don't I know you from someplace?
A very long time ago.
In late 1996, Agnes coped with her own real-life heartbreak. Her husband, Bob, lost his long battle with cancer. In 45 years of marriage, Bob Nixon never broke his proposal promise. He always supported Agnes in the work she loved so much. After Bob's death, Agnes found it therapeutic to write again as soon as possible. She remains executive head writer of All My Children. Agnes continues to make it all look easy. Television, trailblazing, motherhood, grandmotherhood, and of course, her work.
She's been writing since the shows were 15 minutes on the radio. And people drank coffee and said, "Did you hear that the woman next store, went outside without a hat on. You know, I mean, and now it's like these incredible stories, and she keeps up with everything.
Agnes is a legend, and Agnes is an icon. And I think we tend always to regard people like that with so much reverence that we're, you know, we don't really know the person. But Agnes has such a delicious sense of humor, a fantastic sense of humor, and she is so ready to laugh and is looking for the laugh that I think that probably would surprise people.
I think she has really been an example of what television can be and how you can use the medium to both entertain and to educate. And I think she's done that better than most people. I think she's really a bright, shining example of how we can use the medium of television to both inform, to entertain, and to educate ourselves.
Or as Agnes herself wrote in her original outline of All My Children.
The great and the least, the weak and the strong, in joy and sorrow, in sickness and health, in tragedy and triumph, you are all my children.
Emily discovers her mom once smoked marijuana. Stay tuned for her response as You, Me, and the Kids looks at drugs and their impact on children's lives. Next on WTN.